How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Stand Focused for Jesus. Hope each and every one of you are having a blessed day in the Lord Jesus Christ. As always, we're still around. The Lord has not called me home yet. Just been busy with some other stuff, taking care of some business stuff, getting my health back right because I haven't been as disciplined, not necessarily in my eating, which there's always room for improvement, to be honest, but more disciplined in me working out more consistently. Cause I was working out, then I got sick a while back. I think was that last year when I started. Then I stopped, so it was like on and off, on and off, on and off. This time, even through the sickness, my family was sick and I got it a little bit. I said, no, I'm gonna fight through it. I'm gonna stay the course, and it actually helped working out while you are sick, especially if you can get into the sauna and stuff like that. That sauna helps to unclog them pores, and viruses have a hard time surviving in an environment where it's extremely hot. Other than that, my wife is pregnant. Baby will be here, Lord willing. I think next month. So, been also dealing with that. We still doing ministry stuff. My ministry is not limited to YouTube. It never has been, never was. As I mentioned in another sermon or video, however you want to put it, I didn't go out seeking to get on social media, seeking to get on YouTube. I was called to get on YouTube, and it's been a blessing for what it is. Of course, it's a blessing when you use in righteousness, but I met many of you. I met my wife by being in obedience to what the Most High told me to do, which is to get on there and give my testimony. And that one video turned into over 1,000 videos, and here we are today. But let's go ahead and get into it. The title of this video is probably something on the lines of "Scared Money Don't Make Money." Scared money don't make money. Is this about money? Not necessarily. I made a sermon speaking not about this specific topic, but about money a while back. And I did some research, and what I found is Christ spoke about money a lot. In fact, when you look at the parables that Christ spoke, a lot of them are dealing with money. At the time, I didn't understand why. But as I studied the word more and allowed myself to be led by the Spirit, there were different things revealed to me. And so this is kind of like building off of those previous sermons for those of you who have watched them. Money is a tool of faith. Money is a tool of faith. Money is based on faith. If you give a certain amount to this ministry, what are you expecting? You're giving a certain, let's back up. If you give money to this ministry, that money is based on the work that you did. You went to work, you did a job, and you had faith that the people you did the work for were going to pay you. You see what I'm saying? You do the work and then you get paid. They could not pay you. Some of you have been in a situation like that where you done work and you didn't get paid. Maybe you didn't get paid everything. Maybe you didn't get paid nothing. Why? Because it's based on faith. You go to work. You're expecting to get paid every week, every 2 weeks, or whenever you get paid. So when you decide to give your money to this ministry or whatever or whoever the Lord leads you to give to, but we're going to say specifically in regards to this ministry because we're talking about staying focused for Jesus. When you give your money, you're giving it in faith because you got it in faith. When you give it to this ministry, it's a little bit different because you've already earned it. But you're giving it with the expectations that, hey, he's going to do the right thing with it. You're having faith that I'm going to do the right thing with the money and not go blow it on strippers and blow it in the, casino or whatever. You're having faith that I'm going to do the right thing. Therefore, money is a tool of faith, but money isn't faith exclusively, because we know that faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. You hear what I'm saying, and then you give something physical. You see that? The physical manifestation. Money is a tender. It says tender, so you're giving it in exchange. This is why so many pastors are able to manipulate people to opening up their pocket to give them money. I'm going to give you this money in exchange for something. Now, what are the people in the modern day church buildings? What are they receiving in exchange for the money? Something to make them feel good. They're basically receiving a drug. Most of your modern day pastors of today, they're drug dealers. They are dopamine dealers. The people come in on Saturday or Sunday or whatever, they get high jumping around and clapping and stuff, hooping and hollering. And then after church, let's say Monday, they go back to basically doing the same thing they've been doing. And through the week, that spiritual high they were on is gone. So now what do they have to do? They have to go back to get high again. You see, Christ is our source. God is our source. We're not getting high for God. He's giving us the sustenance that we need to survive and to thrive. Because you first survive and then you thrive. In the same way, you need food to eat. You're not getting high for food, or you shouldn't be. Because they got these foods and drinks out here full of sugar and everything, and you're being a sugar high like, man. But we don't live that lifestyle. Right? Again, money is a tool of faith. So when we say scared money don't make money, what are we really saying? We're really saying scared faith don't make faith. Now I'm going to read some things and then we'll go to the scriptures. And these are some very, very interesting things. Let me crank this vehicle up real fast to get some heat. Most of us have been in the bank. When you go in the bank, they usually have a little plaque sitting in the front. I know the bank I go to, they have a plaque sitting there. But most of the banks I went to, they have a plaque that says, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, is backed. Y'all seen that, right? The FDIC, it tells you that they back your money up to $250,000. So if you got more than that, you might want to split it up and not have it in one bank. But hey, when it's gone anyway, right? The FDIC, this is what it says, is backed, we're going to prove it right here, by the full faith and credit of what? The United States government. This means that the United States government guarantees the FDIC's ability to repay its debts and fulfill its obligations. The FDIC is backed by the full what? Faith and credit of the United States government. Your money is insured and backed by the FDIC, by the full faith of the government. You see that? Therefore, money is a tool of faith. Scared money don't make money. Scared faith don't make faith. Now, the US dollar, the US dollar as fiat money is backed entirely by the full faith and trust in the government that issued it, rather than being tied to a physical commodity like gold. The whole monetary system is based on faith. This system relies on collective belief and confidence in the stability and credibility of U.S. institutions, particularly the central bank, Federal Reserve. The worth of U.S. currency is essentially a collective construct, a shared agreement among citizens, businesses, and the governments. The value of money exists primarily because we collectively believe it does, making it a form of mass faith in an intangible concept. The value of money exists primarily because we collectively believe it does. The dollar has the value it does because the people collectively believe it has value. The governments of the world believe it has value. Now, what do you see going on? These different nations, they're transitioning away from the dollar bill. Why? Because they don't have faith in it like they used to. So what this is saying is the value of most things is a perceived value from a person and what they are willing to pay. Examples are cars, new iPhones, Jordans, homes. I got the 96 Jag, right? And it has a perceived value. Some people look at it like, man, it ain't worth that. But other people look at it like, oh man, that Jag is clean. That thing, that they just go crazy over. I'm like, I didn't pay a lot for it and everything, but I do keep it clean. And of course, it has value to me because it's my car. But if I tried to sell that car somewhere else, I don't know if I can hear, but it is raining. If I try to sell that car somewhere else, the perceived value to other people most likely wouldn't be the same as the perceived value to people here. Therefore, I could probably get more for the car here than if I was selling it somewhere else. And it really doesn't matter where you're at. It matters on what the person that is buying it is willing to pay in regards to how much they perceive it in regards to value. The same thing with the iPhone. People go crazy because they perceive it as valuable. I don't really care when a new iPhone drops. I don't really care when a new Android phone drops. Jordans, black folks, it's even white folks now, going crazy over Jordans. Why? Because the Jordan brand has a perceived value. When they put them Jordans on their feet, they feel some type of way. Why? Because Jordan brand is basically a cult. I'm not saying you can't wear Jordans. I'm just saying that most people that wear Jordan, they go crazy over Jordan, they are part of the Jordan cult. If you don't know, Jordan is known as Black Jesus. If you don't believe me, you can go look it up. Jordan called himself Black Jesus. Then you got and not to get off top, but that's why that's really the spiritual dynamic between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Is because there's a cult following when it comes to Jordan, but there's also a cult following when it comes to LeBron James. It's because MJ is perceived as the savior of the NBA, and he was the savior of the NBA, and he paved the way for the likes of people like LeBron James. LeBron James just did things differently when he came into the league, but Michael Jordan is considered the OG, the Black Jesus that saved the NBA, and that's facts. Of course, he's not Jesus, but you get what I'm saying, the savior of the NBA, how they used him to prop up the NBA because the NBA wasn't doing too good back then anyway. Continuing on, we have the same thing with homes. One home could be perceived as more valuable than another home. The house that we have is not too big. Matter of fact, it's only a little bit over 1,000 square feet. But as far as right now, I take this house over a house where I'm paying $2,500 or $3,000 a month. Why? Because I like the house payment that we have on this in comparison to that. Somebody else comes along, they're like, it's not that valuable to me. I'm willing to pay you X, Y, Z. I'm like, no, I'm not taking that because it's more valuable than what you're offering, and also it has more value to me overall. Trust in the central bank plays a crucial role in the effectiveness of monetary policies and the transmission of economic shocks. The Federal Reserve's ability to manage inflation and maintain price stability depends heavily on public faith in its competence and commitment to these goals. The Central Bank of the United States, known as the Federal Reserve or the Fed, plays a crucial role in managing the U.S. dollar and the overall economy through several key functions. The primary job, I want you to really listen to this. I want you to really, really, really listen to this part right here. The primary job of the Federal Reserve is to conduct national monetary policy to achieve its dual mandate. The Federal Reserve has a mandate, a dual mandate. This is their sole focus. If you take everything away and you look and see, okay, what is their mandate? What is their main goal, their main purpose in regards to the money and stuff like that? Their dual mandate is promoting maximum employment and maintaining stable prices. Say what? Promoting maximum employment. Promoting maximum employment. I'll say it one more time. Promoting maximum employment and maintaining stable prices. This involves influencing monetary and credit conditions in the economy to foster economic growth while keeping inflation in check, typically targeting a 2% inflation rate over time. So we clearly see the job of the United States is not to primarily promote ownership, business ownership, entrepreneurship. That is not the job of the United States. That is not the job of the Fed. Their job is to promote and to push and get maximum employment. The question you should be asking yourself is, well, why? Why is its job to maximize employment? Well, I just told you. This involves influencing monetary and credit conditions. Who uses credit? Businesses, but also people. People use credit. If people use credit, then there's a system of debt that ties in with the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which is backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. The United States government is a what? A democracy. Democracy is a government of what? The common people. The common people. What did Jesus say? What did the Father say? What did he say through Moses? If we were obedient, we would lend to nations and not borrow. We would not be under a system of democracy. We will not be under a system where it's based on the full faith of the government of our oppressors. It will be a system of government, a monetary system based on the full faith of the government of the heaven, the government of God. kingdom of heaven. Knowing all this, we see why they want to keep us enslaved in regards to debt slavery, because debt can be a form of slavery. I'm not saying that you can't have debt, because the Bible talks about debt, and the Bible talks about how you're supposed to use debt and everything. Even Jesus extends to us credit. Christ has extended to us credit. Credit means that you borrowed something from somebody. Yet, the pastors aren't talking about this stuff. Or you have the Dave Ramseys of the world that's saying that, God is against it. God is against it when, you're using it for greed. If you're just borrowing just to borrow, so you can buy a whole bunch of stuff that you don't need, then of course that's wrong. But if you're borrowing because you're growing, you have a plan, that's something completely different. We've covered all this. And there are many Old Testament scriptures that address this, and there are also New Testament scriptures. Now, of course, the word does tell us the borrower is servant to the lender. It doesn't say slave. You can become a slave. Just because you borrow money from somebody doesn't mean that you are a slave to that person. A slave doesn't have rights. Slave doesn't have rights. The United States government does not directly borrow money from the Federal Reserve. Instead, the relationship between the U.S. Treasury and the Fed regarding government borrowing is more complex. The U.S. government borrows money by issuing Treasury securities, which are sold at public auctions. These securities are purchased by various entities, including individuals, businesses, foreign governments, and financial institutions. The money to pay these securities comes from tax revenue. Okay, so let's back up. So the United States doesn't directly borrow money from the Fed, just a play on words, but they do indirectly. They indirectly borrow money from the Fed because the United States government, it issues Treasury securities, which are sold. If you're selling something, you get money in exchange, right? So that's where they borrow. And then, okay, we'll pay you back. Now, again, where does the money to pay these securities come from? Because these securities have to be paid. If these businesses and these people, whoever are buying them, they're expecting, to get their money back. Where's the money coming from to pay these securities that the U.S. is indirectly borrowing from the Fed? Tax revenue. The primary source is federal tax collections. Then you also have new debt issuance. The Treasury issues new securities to pay off maturing ones, effectively rolling over the debt. The name of the game for the United States is to never pay off the debt. It's just a game to continue to roll it over. It will never be paid off because it was never meant, the system was never set up for it to be paid off. Why? Because they have perpetual resources to continue this. You may say, well, what's that resource, brother? The people. Which is why the primary source for federal tax collections is tax revenue, which is used for these securities. As long as they got people, and they have people in this system that don't understand how it works, they will always have a way to continue to roll over the debt, to continue to issue these securities, these Treasury securities, because they're securing it against the people. They secure it against the people because what is their goal? What is their job? We just read to maximize employment. Man, I need a vacation because they're working me to death. I'm gonna go borrow. You get a good job, what you gonna go do? You're gonna go borrow to get that house. You're gonna go borrow to get that car. You're going to go borrow for this. You're going to go borrow for that. You're going to go borrow. The more you borrow, guess what? The more you have to work, which maximizes employment. Maximizing employment now, because you're going to spend more money. Spending more money is good for the economy. And spending more money is also good for what? Tax revenue. And the cycle continues over and over and over again. You have these ups and downs, ebbs and flows, as we call it. Oh my God, it's a credit crunch and everything, but they still giving out credit. Oh my God, they giving out free credit, you know what I'm saying? Then people gonna get the credit and they gonna be buying stuff and this and that, and most of them ain't gonna do the right thing with it. Then, you know what I'm saying? Oh, another crash. This is the way it goes. It's a reset. It has to be reset. They can continue doing it because they continue to roll it over. Oh, this is bad debt. We're going to write it off or whatever and all these other things. Then you also have government operations, revenue generated from various government activities and fees. Now you're wondering why you get taxed on everything. The new taxes are the fees. A fee for this, a fee for that. They charge you. They give you a loan on the vehicle. Then when you go make the payment, they charge you $5 or $6 to make the payment. Everything they're charging you for every single thing. They fee you to death. Fees are the new taxes. It's crazy. It's crazy. You may say, well, it ain't a lot of money. Well, when you got millions of people making payments every single day, how much money are you making if you're charging $1? If you got 20 million people that you know have to pay their light bill, and you're charging $1, how much did you just make? The math is simple. So if you multiply that, because I know to pay my bill, my light bill, it's $1. I'm gonna say it's $2. It's $2 to go through the speed pay or bill matrix or whatever it's called. How much money are they making on this tax, this fee, which is basically a tax? And you do that all across the country, all across the world. To pay the car payment with the people that we got our car from, because we got our car, van, point but it, yep. We got our van from Georgia. They charge, I think it might be $6, but I know they were charging $5 to pay your car payment. And we talking about it's a pretty big dealership in the area. But check this out. Individual income taxes are the #1 source of tax revenue in America. Uh-oh, are you starting to understand? Individual income taxes are the #1 source of tax revenue in America. Now, we just read tax revenue is the primary source for federal tax collection. And that's where the money comes from to pay for these securities so they can sell them. Hey, we got this money right here, we guaranteed, blase, blase. And what did the FDIC say their dual mandate is? To maximize employment. Not maximize businesses, not maximize entrepreneurship, not maximize, you being, self-employed, to maximize employment. Employment, we talking about regular employment. Because I know somebody will make an argument, well, if you have a business, you still the employee of the business. I understand all that. Trust me, I know. We're not talking about that. And even then, you still have to pay taxes on it. If you are an employee of the company, you can own the company and still you got to pay taxes because you're on payroll. It's just you doing it. To put this in perspective, in fiscal year 2024, the individual income taxes contributed about $2.4 trillion to federal revenue. This is why the rich, they do what they can do legally, because its IRS tax code is written not for the everyday American. It's written for the businesses. That's why businesses get more, or excuse me, they get more benefits when it comes to the taxes. You say, how can they do this? Because it's legal. It's legal. There's certain things in the tax code like, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. Cause just because it's legal or lawful doesn't mean that it's moral, as they say, or it's righteous. But if there's tax laws that I can take advantage of, I just, the tax laws and stuff, it just is overly complicated. It's overly complicated. It's probably the hardest part of business for me. I ain't gonna lie. Even with, you having somebody to do it, you still gotta keep, like, why y'all make it so hard? But they make it hard on purpose. But yeah, like I was saying, this is why businesses, they get so many tax breaks, because they understand the system. And people get mad, like, well, you don't understand the system you live in, and then you're getting mad when the system isn't working the way that you want it to work. Why would it work the way you want to work when you don't even understand how it works? It's not meant for the everyday person to get these different tax breaks and this break and that break and this break. They give you a little bit. You get your refund and stuff like that, so you take the money and then go, probably spend it on stupid stuff. We've all been there. Hopefully you're not doing that anymore when you get your tax return. Hopefully you have a mindset of investing. This is what this is about. Investing, in yourself, investing obviously in faith, investing, in the people around you, if the Lord has led you to do that. For the 2022 tax year, individual income taxes made up 45.3% of total U.S. tax revenue, significantly higher than other sources such as social insurance taxes and consumption taxes. So social insurance taxes were 21.9% and consumption taxes were 15.7%. You may say, why I'm smiling, laughing. Something to bring it all together for you. Who are the number one business owners in America? White American men. Who are the number one consumers in America? People that look like me. Who are the number one homeowners in America? White Americans. Who owns the least amount of homes? Put my phone up. Least amount of homes. Black folks. Who are the number one renters in America? Excuse me. Excuse me. Who are the number one renters in America? Black folks. If black folks are the number one renters in America, that would mean that black folks are also the number one employed people in America. If white American men own most of the businesses and definitely own most of the Fortune 500 companies, that means that they are employing people. Who are they employing? They are employing, of course, white folks, but they are employing a whole bunch of black folks. The job of the FDIC is to do what? To maximize employment. What the nations of the world are saying in regards to BRICS and stuff like that is they're saying to the U.S., we don't have faith in you like we used to, that you can control your slaves. Your slaves are bucking against you. They're doing this, they're doing that. You're not who you used to be. America, China, Brazil, Russia, India, South America, South Africa, Africa, all these nations of the world, they are modern day plantations. No matter where you go, it's just different plantations have different benefits. Different plantations do things differently. Why? Because of the principalities that are over these different nations. We're not over these nations ruling these nations. So these nations are not being ruled in righteousness, are they? Y'all think because you go over here it's going to be different. Yeah, it's going to be different in the sense of what goes on in that part of the world, but it's still a plantation. There's still a slave master over the plantation. And money in this world, it affords you a little bit more opportunity. Oh, you got that? Oh, you got that greenback? Well, I know greenback was supposed to. I understand that, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, you got more than somebody else. That's gonna afford you a few more privileges than somebody else. It's just the way it is in this world that we live in. This is what it boils down to. They're losing, when they say they're losing faith in the dollar, they're losing faith in their ability to be able to control the slaves, both black and white. The people aren't wanting to work, they're bucking and they're doing that. Like, we can't have that. We gotta reel it back in. So let's put these jobs out here and stuff like that, and we're gonna give these incentives. Now it's gotten to the point where they're transitioning, and they're transitioning to a system of artificial intelligence, as y'all already know. And the reason for that is because the white population is dying. And they still have to try to figure out a way of how they're going to maintain control without having the numbers and people's mindsets changing. Even white folks, the modern day white folks, the modern day generation of white children, and I'm gonna say like between 20 and maybe 40 years old, they don't think the same way a lot of times as their parents. They hang with black folks, they dating black folks, they having children with black folks. They're standing up even more and saying, no, this ain't right. It's just a different time, y'all. So they had to figure out a way, okay, how can we maintain our control with the mindset of white supremacy? And they're doing it through technology. Artificial intelligence, this is where you have the Elon Musk and Donald Trump connection. This is the reason why Elon Musk is having all these children. And these are many things that we talked about before. These are things that you can go look up yourself. It's nothing that I'm making up. So this is where we're at in time. It's like, look, y'all aren't controlling your slaves like you used to. Part of that is because of Bible prophecy. Major part of it is because of Bible prophecy being fulfilled. The time of the Gentiles coming to an end. We know Christ is eventually coming. He's going to destroy all this, wipe it out. And, a lot of stuff is happening that we can't even, cover in one video. But going down to our next point when we get to the scriptures. So our original thoughts, our original point was scared money don't make money. And we have concluded that scared faith doesn't make faith because money is based on faith, right? Now we go to the scriptures, and we'll go to Matthew chapter 10, verses 30 and 31. We'll read that first. But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear ye not therefore, ye are of more value than many sparrows. The value is in the people. This is why they can continue this system of rolling over the debt. Pay it off, pay someone off, and then roll over. Pay someone, roll over. The problem is just getting a little bit too, ain't a little bit, it's out of control, right? It's out of control. Let's be real. But now we see that was the system, that was the game from the beginning. Then we go to Matthew chapter 25. I'm going to start in verse 14. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents. Now we've covered the talents, and it's basically a measure of money. It's literally a measure of money. But to keep it simple, we're going to say $5. Keep it simple. And to one he gave $5. To another, $2. And to another, 1. To every man according to his several ability. What is God telling us? He gives to you according to your ability to handle what he has given you. If God gives you $1, he's saying that where you are at right now, you can handle $1. Let me see what you can do with that $1, and then we'll talk business. Because what do we do? Lord, if you just give me 50,000, Lord, if you just give me 100,000, Lord, if you just give me $1 million. Just give me $1 million, Lord, I'm good. God probably ain't giving you $1 million because you ain't been responsible with the $10, 1,000. You get your taxes every single year. Most of my life, I ain't got no taxes because I've been, self-employed entrepreneur most of my life. But I ain't saying I ain't blow no money. I ain't saying I've been the best at money management. We ain't gonna do that, right? But most of y'all, you get that lump sum check every single year, 2,000. You got children, you really finna get that bag, right? You know how the game go. I ain't gonna say it, but you know how the game go. If you got several children and you maxed out, hey, we're gonna make this agreement, right? You know how it go. So you got this bag every single year. You getting taxes coming in. I'm finna get this. I'm finna get that. Ain't nothing wrong with buying a few nice things for yourself. But niggas, we gotta say it. That's what it is. Bunch of niggas get these taxes and go blow it every single year. Year in and year out, blowing 5,000, 6,000, 8,000. I know people sometimes they had got 10,000. No, one person got $12,000, $11,000 in taxes. Every single year blowing, and then like, hey, what you did with it? Nothing to show for it. No investing, no planning, or nothing. It's different if you got a plan. You take that money and you invest it, and then things don't go exactly as planned. I can rock with that. In comparison to you getting the money, you just blowing it in a whole bunch of bull jive. Like, we have to do better as a people. The only way that we're going to be able to do better is if we come to repentance and God gives us that wisdom through the Spirit. So going back to what we're reading. And unto one he gave $5, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability. God will give you more, but you got to be responsible with the little, and then he will give you the greater. You don't see that in your life? Like, even if you don't see in your own life, have you not seen it with my life? I went from being single. I'm not saying that if you single, you ain't married, that God ain't gave you no spouse because you're irresponsible. You got to pray about that and see why. But a lot of times, God ain't gave you no spouse because you ain't ready for no spouse. So I'm speaking about me personally. Your situation may be a little bit different. I went from having no spouse to having a spouse to not. I wanted children, but I didn't want to have children in this world. God vetoed that. He vetoed it how many times? 4 times. He has given me more. Went from not owning land to owning multiple pieces of land, owning a house. I didn't plan. I didn't have. You know what? I'm gonna own me some houses and land. You know, I may have thought about it throughout my life, but it wasn't like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do because this is what I know. Like my children, that's what they will know if we're here that long. So God has seen me responsible with the little he has given me, and over time he has given me more and more and more and more. And with the more you receive, he still expects you to bring forth a return. Why? He is invested in us. He's invested in us. This right here is an investment. To every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the $5 went and traded with the same. Went and what? He traded with it. I got 5. I'm finna trade with it. Just like you trade on the stock market. That's what they call it, trading, right? And made them 5 other dollars. He had 5. He traded with it, did his thing. And he made 5. So now how much he got? Simple math, he got 10. Pretty good return, right? 100%. That's what we want, right? Or more. And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. So he had $2. He took that 2, he made 2 more dollars. Now he got 4. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. Just in case you didn't think we were talking about money. Just in case you didn't think Jesus was talking about money. He had $1 and took the $1 and buried it. Basically, he had $1 and he took it and he put it in a jar with no purpose. Now you can put your money in the jar, you can put your money in the mattress, you can put your money in the safe, you can put your money in the bank, but you need to have a plan with it. Because let me tell you what happens. When you got your money just sitting there in we're gonna say a bank. You got your money just sitting there in the bank, what happens? Eventually that money, it gets eaten away by inflation. So you got 10,000. I got 10,000 saved. I got 100,000 saved. I got 50,000 saved in the bank. But it's not really 50,000 because over time, the price of stuff increases, and then it dwindles away. So you don't have the same purchasing power. So that 10,000 that you got saved, that you didn't saved, that 20,000, whatever it is, it ain't really 10,000 to 20,000. It's 8, 7, you know, I don't know the math off the top of my head because it would depend on when you started saving it up into, you know what I'm saying, now, you know, and how much, you know, you got or whatever. I don't know all that math. There's too many variables in that regard, but you get the point. The money ain't worth what it was because of these different things. Then you got to factor in when your money is just sitting there in the bank, they're going to take it and then they're going to make money off of your money. Now, they aren't paying you as much interest on that money they're making off of, but they're paying you a little something, right? What should you do? You should have some money in savings, but most of your money should be in investing. Why? Because you understand the system that we live in. If that money just sits there, then you're no better than the unprofitable servant. Because the Lord didn't give it to you to just sit there because it rots away. It rots. If you have a car, let's say you got a brand new car, and in 10 years, you only put 300 miles on that car. In comparison to in 10 years, you put 1,000 miles. So in 10 years, you put only 1,000 miles in that car. So that's good. So in 10 years, that car got 10,000 miles. In comparison to a 10-year period, that car only has 1,000 miles or 300 miles. That car with 10,000 miles is going to be in better condition than that car with only 300 miles or 1,000 miles in that same 10-year time period. Why? Because it just sat there. The people be having them cars that just have them sitting there, whatever, they ain't cranking them. It's not good. The parts, they corrode, they break down. Moths, as the word says, it comes in to steal, to kill, destroy. It just deteriorates. In comparison to you have it moving, the fluids going, the parts and stuff is moving and everything, just doing something with it. You could, you know what I'm saying, just take it around the block or whatever to get them fluids going, let it run for a little bit. That car with more miles is in a better condition than the car with less miles, even though it's basically the same vehicle that was just sitting there. And we can go with so many different examples of that, of stuff when it just sits there, it wastes away in comparison to let it move a little bit, let it breathe. Your money has to breathe. Your money just sitting there doing nothing, so you can say you got so much money saved. What's the Bible telling us? What's the Bible telling us? The Bible's telling us that Christ has invested in you, and he's expecting you to take that investment and to grow it. If God gives you a seed, he expects you to not grow one tree. He expects you to grow multiple trees. When he comes back, what'd you do with that seed? Oh, I buried it. Well, duh. Duh. You buried it, it's gonna do what it does. Oh Lord, let me slow down. So the one person, they received one seed and they just buried it, and then the tree grew. Of course, that's what it's going to do. The other person, God gave them two seeds, and they took the two seeds, they buried them, they end up having 4 trees from that. Then the other person, they received more seed, and then they grew up some trees. And then they said, you know what? I got too many apples. I got too many lemons. I got too many oranges. I know what I do. I'm going to sell it. Because I remember somebody came by and they asked me for them oranges. And they said, hey, I see you got these oranges over here, these apples and these pears and lemons and everything. How much do you want for some fruit? And I sold it to them. And some more people came and I was selling it to them. And then I got this great idea. I still got leftovers. So I'm selling fruit to people, but I'm just bringing in so much. These trees are producing so much that I still got leftovers. So now I'm going to make juice from it. I'm going to make lemonade. I'm going to make lemon juice, fresh squeezed lemon juice. I'm going to make fresh squeeze apple juice. I'm going to make fresh squeezed orange juice, and I'm going to sell that. I know what I do. So-and-so down the street, they got a store. I'm going to put it in a store. Oh, this lemonade is jumping off the shelf. We're doing good. Business is booming. Now it's expanding. We're not only in the local market, now we're in the regional market. We're no longer in the regional market. Now we're nationwide. We're no longer nationwide. Now we are worldwide. We are no longer worldwide. We are international. We going to the moon with it. And if somebody on the moon, we want to sell them our juice. Hey, this juice comes from Earth. You see what I'm saying? I'm being funny, but I ain't being funny. If it's some people on the moon or Mars, we want to sell the juice to them. This come from Earth. This the best juice you can get. This ain't that moon juice. This earth juice coming from straight from the garden. This juice came straight from Africa where God himself, he stepped foot at. For real? Who wouldn't want to buy that? Come on, man. You want to buy it just because I said it. You see what I'm saying? So, it's levels to it. Now God comes back and he said, okay. You took them 10 seeds, you did that? You selling juice? My son. Come on now, y'all know how I get. I'm finna get animated. God coming back looking at you. He said, God looking like, you selling juice to the folks on the moon? Oh my God. My son, my daughter, come here. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Coming to the rest. Coming to the rest. You know what? I'm gonna give you the moon. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you 10 planets over here. I'm gonna give you 10 planets. I'm gonna give you your own galaxy, your own universe. Say what? You selling juice from Earth to the people that live on the moon. Then God comes back and what you do with yours? Okay, you didn't do as much with as he did or she did, but you, okay, so you ain't selling juice to the people on the moon, but you selling juice to the nations and, worldwide. Okay. What is this? This is what you gave me, Lord. I know this is what I gave you, but that's all you got is one tree? Yeah. I buried it and I planted it, and that's what it's supposed to do. I gave you a seed, and all you could bring forth is what is gonna bring forth. This is what he's saying. And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Now, I want you to take heed to that. Because we quote that scripture, well done. I just want to hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant. The context of well done, thou good and faithful servant is, did you bring a return on what I gave you? Where is the return on the investment that I gave you? That is the premise. That is the foundation of hearing. Excuse me. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Were you a profitable servant or an unprofitable servant? That is the basis. That is the stipulation for hearing, well done, thou good and faithful servant. How many times did we hear that preached? That point. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee rule over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent or the $1 came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, meaning that you are a serious man. You don't play no games. Because in the other, I think it's in Luke, he says, I know that you are a store man, meaning you don't play the radios, you don't play no games. Reaping where thou hast not sown. See, a good businessman is able to reap where he don't even sow at. Like, I'm gonna let them do that because he has the wisdom to be able to do that. That's the point where we all want to get, right? Where you sending out Benjamin and his friends to bring back some more friends. So before we were slaves to money, where the Benjamin Franklin and his friends, they were telling us what to do. Now that we're saved, we're growing in wisdom, we're growing in knowledge, we're growing in understanding. We tell Benjamin Franklin and his friends, because we rule over them now, go back and bring some more of your homies. Go back and bring some more. And don't just bring a few and bring a lot of them. So going back to what we're reading, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent, and went and hid thy money in the earth. Lo, there thou hast, that is thine. It's right there, Lord, you gonna get it. His Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful. He called him lazy. Lazy. He said, your lazy ass. He said, you lazy, you don't want to put the work in. Thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchange. He said you could put your money in modern day terms. He said that you could have put your money in the stock market. You had $1. You could have put that dollar in the stock market. It would have brought something. Put $1 in the stock market and then don't do nothing with it and let it sit there in the stock market for 10 years or 20 years. It's going to be worth more than $1. It's going to be worth more than $1. It may be worth 10, it may be worth 20, but hey, you did more, you brought more than what you had. God didn't give you what you have just to give back the initial investment that he gave to you. So again, thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchanger, and then at my coming I should have received my own with the usury. He's saying that you would have gave it to them, they would have made some money off of it because that's what they do. Then I would have got my dollar plus the interest off of it. He was saying that you didn't have no wisdom. You knew that I didn't. You knew that I gave you that looking for a return. I didn't give it to you just to give it to you. I gave it to you because I'm looking for a return. I'm looking for some type of fruit from what I gave you. That money I gave you, what did you do with it? He was better off saying, Lord, let's just be real. If he would have lost $1 and said, Lord, I took $1 and I lost it, and I tried to, you know what I'm saying, get it back. I took my own money. And, you know, I tried and I tried, but I do have that initial $1 that you gave me, and this is for my own money. The Lord would have been gracious to him because he would have said, well, you weren't slothful. You tried. You took action. You know, I like to use the word trying. You lost $1, but you strived to get the $1 back. You strived to get a return off that $1. I'm trying to get my words together. And then you went in your own pocket to make sure that you could still continue on. The Most High would have been more gracious to him in comparison to this. Take therefore the talent from him and give it unto him which have 10 talents. For unto everyone that have shall be given. Whatever God has given you, if you don't use it, he's going to take it away and give it to somebody else. And ultimately, he's going to take everything that was promised to you and give it to somebody else. So let's say God promised you, he said he's going to give you a planet. If you don't do what you're supposed to in this earth, he's going to take that planet or whatever else that's supposed to be yours and give it to somebody like me, because I take it. You best believe I take it. You don't want it, I take it, and I take the money that go along with whatever whatever inheritance of wealth you're supposed to get, riches, I'm gonna take that too. I ain't gonna lie. No lies told. Why? Because I'm a businessman. I love business. I love trading and investing. I love it. I enjoy it. I love bringing in return. I love when you bury something, when you start something from scratch and then you can build it up. It's not always fun. It's difficult, but I enjoy the journey. I enjoy the journey. For unto everyone that have shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that have not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness, there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And he's using money to teach us a lesson. Now I want to read it from Luke. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to read Luke 19, verses 16 through 19. Then came the first, saying, Lord, thy pound have gained 10 pounds. He said unto him, Well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. Say what? 10 cities. But Lord, you gave me authority over 10 pounds. And now I get to be ruler over 10 cities? You see what I'm saying? Money in this world that we're living in, everything that we deal with is a test. Lord gave me 4 children. In the next earth age, I don't know how many children I'm going to have. But if I'm faithful with 4 children, then most likely he'll give me more children at a later time. You see what I'm saying? If I'm faithful with something that ain't really worth nothing, we give it value, money, then he will give me the real riches. Real, I ain't talking about just the spiritual riches, because we know we got that. But we talking about gold and, riches and wealth that we ain't never seen before. He said, if you can be faithful with that in the wicked world, then when all the wickedness is gone, I know you're going to do the right thing. You was faithful over $10,000. You did the right thing with it. You made a few mistakes, but you did the right thing with it. You strive to bounce back. Now I'm going to make you a ruler over 10,000 cities. I mean, who knows? We won't know until that time comes when we receive our reward for what we done in this body. And then we go to 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, and we close right here. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Scared money don't make money. Scared faith don't make faith. People don't believe the Bible. They don't believe the word of God. They don't live it because they are afraid. And why are you afraid? Because you are unprofitable. Lord, I was afraid. Well, you know how God is. You know how your Father is. There's certain times we should be afraid of God. But if you're doing the right thing, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's even a scripture in the word that tells us there's nothing that we can do against the word of God when we're doing good. Even when we make mistakes, when you have that pure heart and you're going forth to do the right thing, God will still use it. Because he knows that, okay, you may have made a mistake. You may have said something the wrong way or said something you didn't mean to say in the way you said it or whatever. But he's looking at your heart and knowing that when you walk in there, you had those pure intentions. And he will work with that. That's how our Father does. All things work together for the good of those that love God. But how can it work together for good when you're so fearful? Oh, I'm scared, God. And then God is saying, yeah, you should be afraid of me because what I'm capable of. But I'm giving you the power. I'm giving you the strength. Rise up. I'm giving you my heart, my power to walk not in fear of the world, but to walk in power and to do what I called you to do. Oh, you didn't do it? Now we got some problems. Scared money don't make money because money is based on faith. So what's the premise of this sermon? Scared faith don't make faith. This is why so many of y'all are not getting things done because you're so afraid. Oh my God, I don't want to mess up. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And you're going to end up being a unprofitable servant. And you ain't going to have no excuses. So with that being said, God bless each and every one of you in Jesus Christ's name. As always, stay focused for Jesus. And as you know, the truth is not debated, it's declared. Love y'all.